Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragon Wing Diamonds. I am here today with a WIP in chat. For those of you who may not know, WIP stands for a work in progress, so this, as you can see, work in progress. And chat, of course, just means I'm going to chat at you. So going over what I have here today, so I am using my Mini Made tray once again because it's the biggest tray I have. I still love my JH Envision Lab tray, but Mini Maze is just definitely bigger and easier for multi-placing. I have my cover minder here that was given, or that I purchased from Bev B. Now she's making different types of cover minders, but they're still they're really cool. And then I am using this, which is new. This is a pen from Blue Dragon, right? Blue Dragon, that's what I wrote down? Yeah, Blue Dragon. So yeah, this is a pen from Blue Dragon. What they did like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that, they got like 5 of these blanks, which, like, you know, they're all one of a kind blanks. And I just, like, I kept coming back to this one. I kept looking at it and I was like, oh, I need to have it. And then they let you choose like the turning style, or you could just randomize it, which I chose to have it randomized, and this is what the final product is. I absolutely love it. Actually, I'm enjoying like the thinness of this pen. It's definitely very different from my other one. And then what I have in here, I have the metal placers. I think they call them Everlast, but I can't remember for sure. These are the ones that Diamond Art Club gives out. They're a little bit thicker, so if you're one of the people who likes thinner metal placers, maybe not the ones for you. But I have been enjoying them a lot. I haven't run into any problems with them yet. Is that everything? Is that everything? Oh, and I'm just using just basic Diamond Art Club wax right now. I've tried out a couple different hard waxes, and I'm finding they're not really for me, so I'm thinking next I'm gonna like try to get my hands on some putty, maybe even possibly the scented glue dots. I'm not sure yet. Just gonna have to see what comes forward. Also, last week Zox released these cool new bracelets. This is the Take Root bracelet. You can order this and get one of 3 colors. It was either the flame one, the water one, or the ground one. I personally, like, even though red's my favorite color, I wanted the blue one so bad. Like, it was the most bright and powerful one, and I'm like, yeah, that's the one that I need to have. And then sure enough, I opened my package today, and here it is, blue one. And then I also did bring the card with me over here. I was going to do a reveal on the channel, but then I pulled it out of the shipping bag, and it was clear, and I was like, well, I already saw what it was, so yeah. It also is considered a gold strap, so yay! I have a gold card now. Okay, and then we got Take Root, and then on the back it says, when things get dark, you may think you've been buried, ooh, but really, you've only been planted. So, I really like these cards, and I like the hard plastic that they are. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I hope that was on view. I didn't stand up to notice. Okay, so today we are working on Forest Sprite. I am doing this, of course, for the Mermaids and Magic event, as well as the Emerald Along. I was trying to decide between this and 2 other kits, because I have a couple of Jasmine Beckett Griffith kits that are fairies, and so I was like, oh, which one do I choose? Which one do I choose? So I reached out to my friend Stealthy Crafter. I'm like, I need your help. I sent her the 3 of them, and she's like, oh, I love Forest Sprite. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do that one. And I definitely am happy with that choice because, like, just all the green in it. Like, I know Emeralds and Fairy Lights, Lindsay, she said, like, oh, let's just do anything fairy or anything with, like, a lot of green. And in this, I feel like I'm doing both, so I like that a lot. And then, like, yeah, like I said, I'm also doing it for the Mermaids and Magic event hosted by Crafting with Shay, and you can call me Butter. I was like, when I first saw their event, I just looked at the mermaid part of it. I'm like, oh man, I don't have any mermaid kits at all at home in my stash. There we go, that's the word I was looking for. And then I watched their announcement, or their start of the event video, and they said, like, anything magical, anything mermaids. I'm like, oh yes, I have lots of magical stuff. So here it is. So yep, I'm working on this. It is nice because I have been working on a lot of rounds lately, so I get the chance to get my hands on a square again. which, you know, everybody says I don't have a preference, but I kind of do. I prefer squares. Like, I don't know, I just like the way they mesh together nicely and everything like that. But that's just my preference. Okay, so I hope you guys are having a good week. I can honestly say I am having a very rough week. So we're about middle of my semester right now, and I love the college I go to. It's definitely like a really well-known university and everything like that. But my college doesn't believe in the fact that people need breaks. So I haven't had a day off of school since the beginning, like since I got back to school. So it's just been, the struggle has been real. Like, I'm in classes I'm in the building every single day for classes. I'm taking 5 classes this semester. 2 of them are online. One of them is a required Zoom class on Mondays. And then the other 3 I am in the building for. So on my Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am at school from 2 p.m. until like 6:15 p.m. and then I'm finally coming home. And then with a half an hour drive, I don't get home till almost 7 o'clock at night. And then I get home, gotta get the baby in bed, eat dinner. It's just a crazy hectic schedule right now. So yeah, I am feeling the burnout. I am feeling it very hard right now. And like this week, I have been struggling so hard with it. Are mine's down there? Yes, there are. So yeah, like I have like so much homework to get done right now because, like, of course, I took 5 classes. 4 out of 5 classes are so literature heavy. Like, my one class, we read a play a week right now. Like, we just finished up Raisin in the Sun, which, fantastic play. If you have not read it or seen it, definitely recommend. But yeah, it's like I had 2 days to read the entirety of the play. And I mean, it's not like it's crazy long. It's like 150 pages. So it's like, it's not super long, but it's still a lot of reading. And like a lot, some of the stories that we read, like another one we did was Desire Under the Elms, and they have a different dialect in that play. So it made it difficult to read because you have to stop and process what word they're actually saying. Especially since the author of that one, I think Eugene O'Neill, I think his name is, he wrote that play phonetically. So he wrote the words out the way that they're supposed to sound. So it's just such a weird read, and you need to stop and think about what is being said. I mean, we all had a laugh with the way, like, the California pronunciation, but, you know, that was comical at least. So yeah, I'm going crazy on that. And then, like, my English romantics class right now, we're reading a book called Belinda. And if you're like a historical fiction reader, you probably know this book. It is a fantastic book. I love that genre of writing. Like, it's definitely a great book, but it's so long. And like, parts 1 and 2 of the book are 315 pages alone. And I had to read that in a night, and I was like, that's not happening. And it still hasn't, like, I still haven't gotten to the end of that. What I did do, though, I have it on Audible now, so I can listen to it, which is making it a lot easier for me. So I've been listening to it instead of reading. Oh, that's going to cause problems. Put my trash over here. Okay. Yeah, so I've been listening to it instead of reading it, which is making it go faster, and I'm also seem to be like absorbing the things that I'm focusing on, because this is one of the books that I will be writing my final paper on, because I think I'm going to talk about like marriages at that time, like the fashionable versus marrying for love, because like anybody who reads like Jane Austen or anything like that knows, like, you kind of gotta marry up, and who cares about love? You need to marry the best man who makes the most amount of money, yada, yada, yada. You know, all that stuff that we don't deal with anymore, thankfully. So yeah, lot to read, and then, like, you know, I'm in a Viking literature class, which I absolutely love. It's so interesting. Like, they have so many different interesting stories and everything like that. I'm learning more about, like, the Norse gods than I ever knew before, and like, I don't know, just having this knowledge is pretty cool. But yeah, once again, reading these things takes a lot of thought process because they throw like 20 characters at you, or not characters, 20 people at you at once, and it's like, wait, and all their names are similar. They all start with H and end with an R and or an F, and you got to figure out who's who, and I think for one of my readings, my fiance and I spent like a good 2 hours just looking at a marriage connection or marriage, like I don't know, family tree chart of the Norse gods, trying to figure out like, wait, isn't this here? Oh no, here's this person's here, like all this craziness. So yeah, a lot of brain power going out. So I am exhausted. I'm worn. I'm beat. I am just so ready. Next week is spring break, thankfully. I am so ready for it. I can't even begin to tell you guys how ready I am for it. Thankfully, though, with spring break coming, I don't have my classes tomorrow. Turns out that my English Romantics class has a conference that she said that she's actually reading a paper at, which is really cool. And then my nonfiction workshop class, my teacher has another, like a different conference. And so I was like, wow, the fact that worked out so nicely, thank you. Like, oh my gosh. So I don't have to deal with, like, I don't have any more long days. All I have, like, at this point, all I have is one more class on Friday, and I am so excited because it's just my American drama class, nice and easy. I don't even have to read anything for it because I already, gotta switch out my wax. Don't even have to read anything for it because I've already finished the play, and we were already talking about the end of the play, so yeah, I'm just looking forward to this nice break. It's much needed. Because, like, I've been doing my usual, like, I'm kicking butt, taking names, like, 80s and 90s on all my papers and stuff like that. Okay. There we go. Squish. There we go. All re-waxed. Now we deal with the residue for a couple minutes. Let's see. There you are. All these colors are kind of melding together. There we go. So yeah. I'm not gonna like talk your ear off completely about school, but I do need to talk about one more like thing, like my nonfiction workshop class. Like this class is just like so different from all the rest of my classes. So as it sounds, nonfiction, obviously we're writing true stories about ourselves. Workshop, people are critiquing what we write, just in case you've never taken a workshop class. Yeah, basically I'm writing about my personal life and handing it over to my classmates, and they are reading it and critiquing my writing and telling me where things need improvements and what have you and everything like that. So that class, I think, like, even though it's opening up a lot, like I've had to talk about a lot of things that I don't generally talk about, like my past with my grandmother and, the reason why I have self-confidence issues, but, like, other, like, and just, yeah, like, one of our, I'll just explain this real quick because it kind of helps with this description that I'm trying to give. One of our exercises we did, because, like, half the semester is exercises, and then the second half of the semester is basically workshops. So for my exercise, for one of the exercises, we had to come up with a list of adjectives about ourselves. And then once you do come up with that list, you go through, you pick two that contradict each other, and then you write about it. Because, what's more fun than writing about contradictions, right? And so, like, I made my list, and then I looked at it afterwards, and when it came to picking two, I looked at these two, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect right here. And I was like, okay, so I am an anxiety-driven attention hog. And I was like, man, that is just, like, me to a key. Like, I have so much anxiety problems, so, like, getting out there is rough for me. And on top of it, like, I have self-confidence issues. Like, I'm not a heavy girl at all. I will admit that. But, growing up and listening to my grandmother, like, constantly tell my mom and my aunt, like, oh, you should lose weight, that's kind of created a tough body image, it's kind of created something in my mind where I feel like if I gain a pound, I'm going to let a bunch of people down. Obviously, I know that's not the case. I gained a lot of weight with pregnancy, and, my fiance still loves me. So, I'm slowly trying, There we go. I'm slowly knocking these these issues down. I'm slowly recovering from them. I'm healing. Thankfully, I have a man by my side who's more than crazy supportive. Like, he is right there with me the whole time, making sure that I am comfortable with myself and who I am. So, little side tangent there. So yeah, that's basically what I read about that, and then for our first workshop assignment, we were turning one of our random exercises into an essay, like a 1,000-word essay. So I chose that one. And, it was difficult because, I talked about things that really bothered, like things that still weigh on me. And I let my class read about them, and they were about to workshop me on them. Oh, yeah, and then on top of it, my teacher, one of her writer friends was there, like someone who's actually published. She was visiting for that class as well. There's another class, that one that I took last semester. It's called Writer's Craft, but there's also an event with it called Writer's Forum. And basically they invite writers to come and talk to the students. Like, you get a chance to sit down with these authors and like talk to them, ask them questions like about their thoughts and feelings when writing the books, thoughts and feelings, or it's like advice for people who are trying to get published, because we're all English majors. Obviously there's a handful of us trying to write books and publish books, me being included in that. So she had come for the writers' forum. She was the one who did her reading and everything. And so she came to class the next day. And of course my teacher's like, oh, is everybody okay with her coming and joining us for class? I'm like, oh yeah. We're all like, yeah, of course. So, and then she was like, oh yeah, by the way, she did read all of your stories for today. And then I was like, oh, okay. So once again, here I am, like my writing was out there to an author, and that was kind of scary to me. But everything went well. I got good critiques on it. Very minimal things to fix. Things that are actually really easy to fix too. And I'm gonna have to, because I didn't get a perfect score on that. So I'm gonna go back and revise it and get that perfect score, because that's what I do. I want President's List. We'll see if it happens this semester, but I want it. I want it so bad. So, but yeah, I kind of just went on a tangent. So the nice thing about this class is, like, this group of people, I think we are becoming closer with one another than anybody else in our major right now, just for the simple fact that we are opening up to each other in ways that are, like, personal to us, Like, we're learning, like, the deep down dark things about each other. I wouldn't say dark, nothing of it's been dark, but, we're seeing traumas from people, obviously, like, stories of divorce and grief and poverty and all this crazy, like, it's just so much stuff. Oh, I missed a 9. So, yeah, we're kind of like, I missed a lot of 9s. What the heck? What am I doing here? So, yeah, we have gotten very close with one another, and, like, one of the days, like, I'm sure he'll kill me for telling this story, but you know what, I don't care, because I think it needs to be told. So we did an exercise that is called perhapsing, and what you do with that exercise is that you write about a day that you weren't there for. So the prompts that were given to us were your parents' wedding day, the day your parents met, the day of your first birthday, the day of your birth, stuff like that, where you're kind of like guessing on what happened without having the actual true details. And, like, this is, like, it's kind of like a tool. I call it more a tool. It's kind of a tool that authors use in situations when they can't exactly remember the full event, but they remember enough of it to write about, and it's important enough to write about. So yeah, you kind of, like, it's taught you word choices and everything like that. I personally wrote about the day my parents met, because I always laugh at the story that whenever I'm told it, because my dad was completely wasted the day he met my mom, and she thought he was such a jerk. But, obviously it worked out, because I'm here. So yeah, I wrote about that day, and then another person in our class, they wrote about their first birthday. And by the end of it, they said, like, and it was probably the best birthday party I ever had. And I was like, after we finished listening to it, I looked at them and I was like, there's no way that was the best birthday party you had. Because, I mean, they're, like, in their 20s, so it's, like, a lot of birthdays to have be disappointing. And then they proceeded to tell me, like, yeah, I think there's a curse on my birthday or something. And every year something happens and they just have a really bad birthday. And then, like, they followed it up with, oh yeah, and then leading up to this weekend, I was supposed to have a party with a bunch of my friends, but then something happened, there was a fallout, and just, it didn't happen, or we had to end up having to cancel the party. I was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. And so, like, after that, I stayed behind class, and I talked to my teacher. I was like, so this person said that their birthday, like they read the birthday thing, they said their birthday's literally this weekend, or their birthday is like, or they're doing a birthday party this weekend, so their birthday is somewhere around here. Like, I didn't actually figure out what day was actually their birthday until after this all happened. So I was like, would it be okay with you if I got some cupcakes and brought them in, and then we can do a little birthday celebration for them, you know, just to give them something special to do, right? Or or nice little surprise for their birthday. So my teacher's like, oh my gosh, you're such a great person. I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing this for the I'm so great. I'm doing this because I, like, you know, this person's an awesome person. So it's like, you know, this person deserves this. So we threw a little birthday thing for them. We planned it for the Tuesday, but then they ended up not being in class on Tuesday, so we pushed it to Thursday. My teacher brought in a banner, and then I got the cupcakes for Tuesday, and then since they didn't come in, we ended up just keeping them because there's no way they're going to hold until Thursday. So then she actually got the cupcakes that day. And she's like, I'm totally going to give credit to you. I'm like, I don't need the credit. I just want them to have a good birthday. And then so we put the banner up, and like my professor's like, oh yeah, we're celebrating a birthday, and then like the person just like staring off into space, not realizing it was them, and then I pointed at them, and they're like, wait, me? And I was like, yeah. And then they're like, wait, how did you know? And then I told them, like, well, you told me this, or I was in your group for that the perhapsing exercise, and then you told me about your weekend plans that fell through, so I assumed your birthday was somewhere around here. And like, oh my god, it was so great. Like, it feels so great when you do something genuinely nice for another person. Cause like, I mean, they, like, you can tell it just made their day. Like, it was so great. And then, I mean, unfortunately, they have celiac, which I didn't realize, and couldn't eat the cupcakes. I'm like, oh, just lick the frosting. And they're like, oh, I will so do that. So, still got to enjoy it. But yeah, just like, I don't know, I just like absolutely love this class, and I feel like I'm, oh, never mind, okay. I love this class, and I feel like I'm cultivating some real friendships out of it, because of the fact that we just know these things about one another. Like, I'm not afraid to talk about the deep, dark stuff with them, because I know there's no judgment, and it's a judgment-free zone, and it feels good. It's a great class. So yeah, I think that's about all I will talk about school with you guys. Because yeah, the burnout, the true burnout. I'm looking forward to my spring break next week. I'm looking forward to doing nothing, spending time with my daughter. The boys are going to be with their mom next week, so I get a break there too. Saturday we're going over to my mom's house for dinner, which I'm really looking forward to. I will admit that I have not been very good at keeping up with making plans and hanging out with people right now because of school and everything that I got going on. By the time I hit the weekends, I just want to like crash so hard. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh yeah, and last time I realized I told you guys that I got engaged, but I never actually told you the story of the proposal, and who doesn't love a good proposal story, right? Especially this one. This one's not like a heavily crazy, got a air balloon and down on all fours stuff with it. It was a sweet one. So that So our anniversary fell on a day that my fiance had to go into the office, unfortunately. But it was also beginning of August, so Sydney was, so April, May, June, July, August. So she was only like 4 months old at that point, 3-4 months. So, she was just about to hit 4 months. So I was home with her all morning. And then, so my fiance got home, and I kind of ruined the first plan that he had. So he stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and got me a cup of coffee, and he also got me a donut, which was really sweet. And I was really excited about it, but when he came in the door, I was zonked out on the couch with Sydney asleep on me. He came home a lot of days with me like that, because like at that point she would not sleep without being up against me. Like she would not fall asleep on her own yet. Of course, now that she will fall asleep on her own, I miss the cuddly days. It's always how it goes, right? So yeah, he got home, brought me a donut. His initial plan was that he was going to propose to me with the donut because he didn't have a ring yet. He was still in the process of picking one out and stuff like that. And I think we had to wait for his next paycheck or something I don't remember. But yeah, so he didn't have the ring yet, which I said that's okay. You don't need to propose to me with a ring. Like we've basically known we were gonna get married for months probably a year at this point. So we were just waiting for it to happen. So yeah, he was gonna propose to me with the donut, but then, he walks in the door and there I am snoozing with the baby girl. And so he gave me the donut and the coffee and stuff like that. And so later on, we laid her down to bed, and we had gotten dinner. I think we had gotten Olive Garden or something for dinner. And then my fiance stepped into the kitchen, and he goes, "Oh, can you come help me with something?" And the way our kitchen's set up, we have a pretty open area for the kitchen, but then you jet off this little tiny hallway, and that's the door to the garage. There's a quarter bath there, and then a pantry there. He was kneeling in between, in that little hallway there. So I walked over, I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" And then he gave me his little speech, and then he asked me if I would marry him, and I said yes, of course. And of course, we're both crying, because, that's what you do. And then a couple weeks later, the ring came in, and I haven't taken it off since, except for when I take a shower or do dishes. So yeah, that's our little story. It's not super crazy, but it's so romantic, and I still feel bad to this day about ruining his donut proposal. Of course, I don't know why he didn't just do it after I woke up. He knows I fall asleep and wake up so easily, so he could have still done it, but it was still funny. So Sydney, oh my goodness, this little girl, she's a little spitfire, that's for sure. So she's getting so close to walking. So freaking close to walking. She is currently standing up on her own. I can't remember how long she did it for 2 days ago. I was laying in her playpen with her. Sometimes she gets angry and she just wants people in there with her. She doesn't like being in there by herself. Upside down triangle, maybe. Still getting used to where all the drills are. Yes, upside down triangle. I'm still getting used to where all the drills are in my case, so bear with me. Oh, that one could have been swapped over. Okay. Yeah, so I was laying in the playpen with her while she was playing, because it was the only way that she would be happy. And so I'm just laying there, and then she stands up, and she was using me as a study, and then she just let go of me, and then she just stood and kept standing and kept standing. And I think she was standing for a solid 2 minutes at this point. And I look at her brother, and he's like, "She's been standing up a while." I'm like, "Yeah, she has." And so I'm like, man, honestly, I would be surprised if she's walking within the week. That's how much she's getting there. She's got her 2 teeth coming in. They're coming in nicely, and they're so adorable. She got the cutest little smile with her little 2 bottom teeth coming in. Yeah, we got everything set for her first birthday. Yeah, we just took her 11-month-old pictures, which were so difficult to take because, she wants to play with everything. So We got this cute little Harry Potter mat or blanket that she lays on, and then they got like little cutouts for like picture frames to show like what month or months, weeks, whatever, however you're doing. Actually, it hasn't went for years too, but I don't think we'll be doing it past 1 year. So we later on it, or we set up the 11 months portion of it later on it, and then instantly she jumped out, or she rolled over and started trying to grab at the things that the frames that cover that go around the months. So I have a bunch of pictures of her like grabbing stuff and messing with them, and then like one good one. Let's see. You know, it's funny because like when I'm driving to and from school, I can think of a million things to talk about, but then when I'm sitting here, it's like brain beep, like. Oh, how about that Diamond Art Club mystery clearance kit sale that happened, what was it, a couple days ago? That's a fun story. Let's see, how long have I been talking to you? Oh, half an hour, okay. So yeah, that's a fun story. So yeah, that happened on Sunday. For those who may not know, Diamond Art Club just like emailed everybody and said, hey, we got these mystery kits. We're put 4 clearance and overstock items into it, and then it's like a $250 value for just $70. I was like, oh shit, that's a pretty good deal. And of course, you know, I got that email as my fiance was at the grocery store and stuff. I was like, oh, come on. So like, and I knew I had to act fast because they were gonna sell out and stuff like that. So I texted him and I was like, so there's a sale going on. And then he called me right back because he was like, wow, I was about to call you because my daughter, she does overnight diapers for the bed for bedtime because she's got an active bladder, that's for sure. So he was looking at those, and we had to make a decision on whether we were just going to, because like we obviously were out, we had to get some, and she's currently in size 3 diapers, but they didn't have any size 3s, they only had size 4 and up. But we were looking at the weight limit on 4s, and she is at like the very she's at the very bottom of the weight limit. So I was like, okay, so this can work, possibly. I mean, we're like, well, and I told him, I was like, well, just get the 4s, and if we need to, then we will swap out, or we will, like, if they don't fit her, then we'll just get 3s, and then we'll save the 4s for when she actually does fit into them. And he was like, okay, that's what I was thinking too. So we got the 4s. Thankfully, not a problem. They fit her, no problem. They don't fall off, and they have not leaked yet, thankfully. So that worked out. So yeah, he was like, yeah, I was just about to call you about this. And then I was like, yeah, so he's like, that sounds like a really good deal and you should do it. Plus it'll make for a great video. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I just about started crying at that, just because of the support I was feeling at that moment. Like, not only were you just thinking in regards to like, oh yeah, it's a really great deal, but the fact that he went that step further and was like, oh yeah, it would be great unboxing for your channel. Like, holy crap. Like, the support, just like the true support that I have from him is something that I haven't gotten from like any of my previous relationships. And it feels so great because, you know, I don't know. It makes me happy. Makes me realize I'm definitely with the right person every single day. Plus, you know, the fact that he does do all the work of editing and creating all my fancy images and stuff, and yeah, he puts as much work into this channel as I do, I think, a lot of the time, which is nice. It's like right on the border. There we go. I didn't really cut that very well. That's okay. I'll work through it. Man, these are kind of like blending together. So these similar pictures. I mean, this is an older Diamond Art Club kit, and I know they don't do that as bad anymore. But man, making it a little difficult for me today. Mostly because my brain is shot. So yeah, that support was just, I don't know. I just felt so good after that. Cause like, man, he cares about this as much as I do. It's not just like him being like, oh yeah, honey, good job. No, it's like, oh yeah, this will be great, and we can do this, and yeah, it'll look good. Okay. Oh my gosh, yesterday I mixed up these two colors. I put the, was it like that way arrow on where the loop-de arrow goes, and I had to pick a bunch off, and I was like, oh my god, what is with my brain? Oh yes, and I have hit the epitome of mom mode. Oh my goodness. So the other day, so basically we have the playpen for my daughter, and it takes up the entirety of the living room basically. So we just kind of like have this like little path along the couch, but it's needed because my goodness, this girl, she's crazy. So when we put her in there, she doesn't like us being away from her. So generally one of us will just sit on the couch, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to be sitting on the couch anyways, I'll pull out the tray tables and I will just, work on my diamond painting there, because, yeah, I think that'll work really well. I can get a bunch done. So one day I'm sitting there, or was it earlier this week, maybe Monday, I was working on my diamond painting and stuff, and then it was time for Sydney's nap, and so she has been watching Blue's Clues lately. So we were watching Bubble Guppies, and then we got to the end of it, and Paramount Plus just like Paramount Plus automatically switches to the next one that was popping up. And so the next one to follow Bubble Guppies was Blue's Clues. And so like I didn't get to it fast enough to like turn it off or anything. Not that I wanted to, but I wasn't sure how she would. I wasn't sure if she'd actually enjoy it at her age. But then like the first episode came on, and it was like OG Blue's Clues with Steve from the 90s. And she just sat there and stared at the TV. I was like, oh, okay. That works. So, which one are we over here? So yeah, we left the show on, and we've been playing through that. We actually got through all the Steve episodes, got through all the Joe episodes, which, I was understanding why the show got canceled when we got towards the end of the Joe episodes, because they just tried to change too much of it too fast, and I didn't like Puppet Blue. It didn't work for me. So yeah, now, and then recently they came out with the Blue's Clues and You, which is what we're on now with the new guy, Josh. And it's kind of funny because what this show is basically Steve's Blue's Clues, but modernized. And like they literally have the same exact episodes, like the same things happen. Like the first episode, it's like I don't remember the first episode, but like there's an episode where it's like, oh, there's big news that Blue is gonna tell us, and it was like that Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper were gonna have a baby, and well, this time they had 2 babies and stuff like that, all this stuff. So yeah, we've been having that on in the background while she's been down there playing. And then got to be nap time, so I brought her upstairs and I laid her down in her crib, and I went back downstairs and I just started working on my diamond painting again, and just sitting there, and then like I'm talking to my fiance. And then I just stop and I go, wait a minute, why am I still watching Blue's Clues? And then he laughed at me because obviously he's like, I don't know, why are you? Like, I don't know. So then I went ahead and turned it off and like turned on someone's WIP and chat or something. Or like, but yeah, it was just like one of those moments of like, oh my god, did I really just do that? I put the kid in bed and just let the show keep playing? Like, what has gotten into me? So that was a pretty comical moment for us. Man, I am missing them all over the place. Oh, what is wrong with me today? Oh wait, I already told you. Burnout! Oh, speaking of burnout, I had a really, yeah, it takes that much, really bad day yesterday. So my gaming desktop that I've had for probably like 7 to 10 years, I don't know exactly how old it is anymore, but I can get this couple on this. But yeah, I've had it for a long time, and like the only thing I've upgraded in it so far was the graphics card. So like it's due to be replaced, and I know it's due to be replaced, and now it's telling me it's due to be replaced. So I went to boot up my computer yesterday because like my first thing I do in the morning is log on to my school uses a website called Brightspace to monitor all the classes and stuff like that. So you can log on and like see your assignments, see a syllabus. Oh, that's why. Thanks. Okay. Never mind. I didn't miss any on that one. But yeah, you can log on, see your assignments, see your syllabus, any messages from your teacher, anything like that. And so I went to boot up my computer so I could log into that. And then the fan just starts making this horrendous noise. Like, it was so bad that my fiance even came downstairs because he could hear it. And he was like, what is that? I'm like, that's my fan. And so he, like, pulled it apart and was looking at it. He's like, well, or when I get back from work, I'll clean it. And then we'll boot it up and see if it's still doing that. Okay. So my computer laid open all day, of course. I was like, oh, man. And then he got home and he took a look at it and like he got the fan all clean and everything, got some canned air to clean it, and then booted it back up again. Still making this horrendous noise. I'm like, oh, come on. And then he was like asking me about the second fan on the top. He's like, is that unplugged or is it just not working? I'm like, I honestly can't remember at this point because when the computer was first built, not everything was plugged into it because the person who helped me build it was like, oh, you don't need all this stuff plugged in. And I was like, you sure about that? But I was like, whatever, I didn't know much about building computers, so whatever, I trusted him. So yeah, I was like, I don't know if that fan's unplugged or if it's just not working. And so, like, he checked it, and he's like, oh, it's just not working. And then he tried, like, spinning it with his finger, and, like, the thing was like, And I was like, okay, well, clearly that's not working. So now both the fans on top of my case are broken. So that means all my airflow for my computer is reliant on the side fan, which is, it's a big fan. But, it can only do so much. And then also there's one little fan out the back. So that was rough, because I am being conscious, it's more than just being conscious of my computer and not wanting to melt it, but, because I play World of Warcraft a lot, and, I'm on a raid team and everything like that. So logging into game, it was already straining my system as it was, and now that my system's gonna have a little bit of extra heat on it, it's just gonna make it 10 times harder. And the last time I tried to log into game, the main city, it's called Valdrakken, I literally couldn't move in it. The graphic, I was the lag was so bad and everything like that. I was like, oh man. So I hit that point now. It's like, well, I don't think I can play this game again until I can afford to get a new computer. Which, who knows when that will be, because I'm still waiting to hear back on next steps for the editor job I'm interviewing for. So yeah, that really, that was a rough morning. That was a rough way to start my day yesterday. And then on top of it, I'm exhausted because basically my fiance and I trade off our mornings. We wake up with the baby girl because, just waking up every single morning with her was just becoming too difficult with me. Especially since, she can wake up anywhere from, 7:30 until 9 in the morning. So, I definitely curbed a lot. I don't stay up nearly as late as I used to. I used to stay up until 2 a.m. Not anymore. I'll go to bed anywhere from, 11 to 1 now. Just to try to, be able to get some sleep. But, so this week, the plan was Monday he was supposed to sleep in with her. And then generally I would take either Wednesday or Friday to sleep in with her. But of course, problems happened. He, with work and everything like that, they created a new remote VPN and stuff like that, or they're going with a different company for it. So when he was trying to get into work on Monday, he literally couldn't. So all the time that he would have been asleep, he couldn't be because he was fighting, or he was on with IT and stuff like that. So I was like, oh crap. So there goes my chance to sleep in, because I knew like today he would have wanted to. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of sucks. So I was exhausted yesterday because Tuesdays, Thursdays, he's in the office. I have to get up with her. Thankfully, she's been sleeping until 9 the last couple days. She's been sleeping a lot, so I think she's actually going through another growth spurt. Yeah, crazy. They grow up like weeds, I swear. So yeah, I was just, by the time yesterday ended, like, I started this section right here, and, like, I think I had it more than halfway done, so I just, like, queued up, first I listened to Diamonds and Washi WIP and chat, and then I listened to, like, half of Mrs. Coffee's WIP and chat, which, I mean, I'm glad I did, because, oh my god, she had me laughing so hard, and I was like, man, I feel better. Like, I actually feel better after laughing like that. So yeah. I went to bed at like 11:30ish, and then I got to sleep until 9 today, so I got a decent amount of sleep. I feel really good today, thankfully. I only had one class today. Unfortunately, I did have to spend like my entire morning doing homework, because, oh my gosh, my brain, once again, just like, it just goes to show how tired or how burnt out I am right now. So like I said, we just finished reading Raisin in the Sun. For class on Monday, we had to read the first act of the play. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And I like, oh, that's a really short first act, cool. And I read through it all, or what I thought was it all. Let me just say that much. And then I'm sitting in class, and they're talking about things that I didn't read. And I'm like, what did I do? And then I look where my bookmark is, and I read to the end of the first scene of Act 1. And I didn't read the rest of Act 1. And I'm like, oh, whoopsies. So then I had like the rest of Act 1 to read, plus 2 and 3 for class today. So that's all I did this morning. I just read Raisin in the Sun all morning. And I got done with like about 20 minutes to spare, I think. So yeah, that was a funny oopsies on my part. And like, I was so confused in class. I'm like, why is everybody talking about things that I haven't even read about yet? Like, was I supposed to read Act 2 as well and stuff like that? And then I looked, I'm like, oh wait, no, never mind, there it is. So yeah, the way plays are broken up, it's very interesting. And like, yeah, I saw the Roman numeral 2, and I'm like, yes, I'm done, because I was also, oh shit, it's all crooked. Because I was also reading for my Viking literature, and I was reading through these both on Sunday evening after we got the boys back and everything, so I was like trying to power through it all so I could enjoy the rest of my Sunday night, and I powered through a little too fast and didn't pay attention to what I was doing. Exactly the thing that we're trying to teach my stepson not to do. He does that with his math. Yeah, we're finding out that he might have a slight dyslexia problem like me when it comes to math. And so, like, I've been trying to help him with that, because, like, he'll create numbers out of nowhere, but they're similar, and I just, like, I look at that, and I'm like, okay, this is exactly what my brain does. So, like, I told him, I'm like, so, you need to start going slower with this. I explained to him, like, it's, like, this isn't an excuse to, just do bad, it's not an excuse to get things wrong. It's, you kind of have to learn how to live with it, basically, because, it's a thing. It's what your brain does. If you work too fast, it's gonna mix things up. If you work too slow, well, I mean, if you work slow, things are gonna mix up, but, So, I was explaining to him, like, you need to start going a little bit slower when you're doing this kind of stuff, and double check your work, just because you know that this is a potential problem, and it's, if you keep, like, you have a potential of getting things wrong if you just go too fast. And it saves you a lot of time if you don't have to go back and redo all the work that you just had done. But he seemed like he was understanding that well enough. I mean, granted, he still rushes through his schoolwork because, I mean, who wants to do schoolwork? It's more fun to play video games, right? Right. So So yeah, we've been kind of working with him in that. He's been doing a lot better in school though. I remember before, like I was talking about, like he was struggling pretty hard with school. We got him on ADHD medication, which is doing wonders for him. He's able to focus better and he's getting more work done and all that stuff. Oh, sounds like my boys are actually home. Where are we at? Oh, 50 minutes. Just hold on a second. I'm going to go close the door. Okay, but anyways, he's been doing really good in school, and he's, like, the teacher he has this year, he's got a new teacher, because the school they go to, they have a teacher for 2 years, and so Alex just moved up from his, third, fourth grade year into his fifth, sixth grade year, and so he's got a new teacher, and she's working wonders, like, when we ran into a problem with him, like, not telling us homework assignments that he had and stuff like that, we set up a system where he has to put into, like, because they use Seesaw, I think it is called, for school, and so, like, he puts in there what his homework is, and then that way us and his mom can go in and check and make sure that he's not lying to us about the homework he's got to do. So yeah, that's been working wonders. Their school is currently doing this really interesting thing, like, they do this every year. It's called 3 Schools, 1 Book. And, like, so there's, in the town I live in, there's, like, 3 elementary schools. They got 2 of them based on, like, borders of the city. And then the third one is the one my boys go to. It's, like, a special elementary school. They have, like, they don't, like, do standardized testing and all that stuff. It's more of, like, you learn stuff, and then they gauge where your learning level is, and then based on that, they'll work with you in certain regards. So it's not like if you don't do well, you fail this grade. Like, they still move up in the grades without any problem. But they look at where they could use work and work on them, or work on that with them and stuff. Which I think is awesome. Like, standardized testing sucks, let me tell you. I hated my Regents exams. I mean, I hate taking tests in general. I panic so hard at tests. That's why I like English, because there is no tests, you just rate. So yeah, they're doing this 3 school, 1 book thing, where all 3 of the elementary schools, every kid in the school reads the same book, and they get, like, this packet of questions and stuff, and they answer the questions, and then they just, like, kind of turn those into the teacher. It's a really cute thing. So right now they're reading a book called Masterpiece, and it's about, like, little beetle who did art, or created a thing of artwork, and I mean, the point we're at is, like, the beetles are all worried because, you know, the humans are going to find out that they can do art, even though the humans think that their son did it, and the son's like, oh, don't worry, little guy, you're fine. I don't know. It's interesting. I've only heard the couple of chapters that I heard the 2 chapters that we did last night because, you know, I was there for it. Monday night, I didn't get to hear majority of it because my fiance had come upstairs and started doing that reading while I was finishing up my class, because I have my one Zoom class that's on Mondays from, like, 3:35 to, like, whenever the teacher feels like it. It can go to 5:20 in the afternoon, but thankfully he never makes it that late. We're usually out of that class within an hour. So yeah, I missed most of it, and I came up for, like, the tail end of it on Monday. Okay, well, the kiddos are home, and now we gotta juggle the play date situation. Drake has a play date with his friend Liam today. They're going sledding, which is gonna be, I know he's looking forward to it. He's been talking about it all week. Unfortunately, I don't know how much sledding is going to actually happen because so much of our snow has actually been melting over the last couple of days. Like, today was supposed to be colder, but stuff was still melting because the sun was just bright as can be. Actually, the sun made it warmer than it felt like, which is nice. I'm so ready for winter to be over, though. But yeah, so I think I'm going to end it here just because I have to go get help situate things for that. Alex is staying home with us, and Sydney isn't down for a nap right now, so yeah. But yeah, we gotta get that all juggled. We gotta get him out there. You know, life with kids, you know? It's never dull. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed sitting here with me while I worked on this beautiful piece. I'm so excited to see what this looks like overall, because like as it's coming together, I just like, I love the colors. It's gonna be so nice. So yeah, if you like this video, please be sure to throw me a like, throw me a comment, let me know how you guys are doing. I always love hearing from people, like if there's something you want to see on my channel too. Like I know I'm still getting started out and everything like that, even though it's like 2 years old, but you know. But even though I'm still getting started out, like let me know what you guys want. Like I want to be able to cater my channel to my viewers for sure. So yeah, just let me know if there's anything you want me to see, if you want to see. I do still have to do my post review for Tiger Stare, the one I just finished, which I will do. Probably record that hopefully later tonight. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. Who knows what the afternoon's gonna bring. So yeah, should have a post review coming, but yeah, throw me a like, throw me a comment, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. WIP and chats, of course, are always posted on Wednesdays unless something happens and I post on Thursday, but I won't ever like push it way out. So yeah, I'll aim for Wednesdays for WIP and chats, and then, you know, random unboxings, small shop hauls, all that stuff. I have a lot of unboxings I still have to do, and I have I have a few unboxings from prior to my break, from the channel break, that I have to get up, that I filmed like ages ago. So yeah, I will take care of those and then yeah, get them posted. Well, thank you for spending this time with me, guys. Bye.